So today we're going to be talking about understanding dominion, multiplication, and stewardship. We'll be talking about how God designed a business from his perspective. So let's get right into it. So business is not secular activity, but it is a divine calling. So before there was a church, a synagogue, a government, God created work, wealth, assignment, and dominion. So, your business is not just a company, it is a kingdom trust. It's a garden that God has entrusted you to cultivate. So, today we're going to talk about several things from mentors that I really love, ones that you should look up: Myron Golden, Russell Brunson, and Rabbi Daniel Lathan. And we'll be talking about biblical wealth frameworks, kingdom based value creation, and then some Hebrew business theology as well. And of course, we'll be referencing, Joseph, Solomon, and Paul as well. So the first principle we're going to talk about is that God is the original entrepreneur. So in Genesis 1:1, it says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." So the first verse of the Bible is the first act of business creation. So God, he conceived a vision, he spoke it into existence, he organized it, he sealed it, he delegated it, he saw that it was good, and he multiplied it. So every business, every principle of business is hidden, in the creation story. So creation itself is God's business model. So the next principle we're going to talk about is, so you are assigned to produce and not to survive. So Genesis 1 and 28 tells us, "And God blessed them, and he said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion." So this is the first command ever given to mankind. So it's not worship, it's not pray, it's not sing, but it's to produce, to multiply, to manage, to expand, to govern, and to dominate a field. So this is called our dominion mandate. So Rabbi Lapin says that business is God's primary way of enabling humans to imitate him. So, through business, we're able to imitate the creation of God. So it is a mandate to reflect on God's nature um, through value creation. So God's wealth is a formula. It goes from value to service to reward. So Luke tells us in 6:38, "Give and it shall be given unto you." So God does not reward time. God, he rewards value. So value is created by serving others at a high level consistently with excellence. So Solomon did not become wealthy by asking for wealth. Solomon asked for wisdom, and wisdom produced solutions, and solutions produced the wealth. So, understanding that value creation, that wisdom, that value that Solomon offered, that allowed him to serve at the highest level and generate the wealth that he was able to generate. Proverbs 22 and 29 tells, it says, Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. So your business grows when your value grows. So as we talked about before on this page, the Joseph business model. So Joseph is the blueprint for systems, scaling, delegation, management, revenue stewardship, wealth building, and economic influence. And you can find Joseph's story on this page. So Joseph solved a national problem. He built a 14-year business plan. He managed other people's wealth before his own, and he created systems that ran without him having to do anything. So Genesis 39:3 tells us, and his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hands. So the lesson is very simple here. Where favor rests, prosperity follows. Where systems exist, scale follows. So build systems, build leadership under you, and build solutions for the market, uh, and build profit centered operations. So, the next thing we're going to talk about is that God, He blesses order and not chaos. So, Paul explains this to us in 1 Corinthians 14:40. It says, let all things be done diligently and in order. So, Russell Brunson calls this the divine funnel. So, your business needs acquisition systems, it needs fulfillment systems, it needs communication systems, it needs financial tracking systems, it needs a customer journey, and it needs delegation structure. So when things are in order, then growth becomes automatic. So these are biblical business principles that have been put into modern day business, into the gardens that are being cultivated by stewards and being used to generate, hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions, and billions of dollars. So another principle I want to talk about is wealth is a tool and it's not a goal. So Deuteronomy 8:18 tells us, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. So understanding the power to get wealth is not the same as receiving wealth. It's the power to create, to solve, to add value, to build, and to multiply. So God gives power, and you generate wealth with that power. So wealth is not evil, greed is evil. Money is not the master, but money is the servant. So let's talk about servant leadership, and why this is the greatest business model to follow. So Jesus framed leadership as service. Mark 10:44-45 tells us, and whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister. So the one who serves the most, they're going to earn the most. Your business grows when your impact grows. So people pay for transformations and not for transactions. People are not just giving you money to do another transaction on your um, POS system. People are looking for you to transform their problems with your solutions. Next principle we'll talk about is faith is the business advantage. So Hebrew 11:6 tells us, for he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So faith is not a passive thing. Faith, it should build you. It acts, it risks, it stewards, it pursues, it launches, and it obeys. And your business becomes unstoppable when your faith becomes unstoppable. So God, He expects multiplication and not maintenance. And that's why we talked about faith first. So Matthew 25:29 tells us, for unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. So the one who multiplied received more, but the one who buried his talents lost everything. So God rewards initiative, growth, expansion, multiplication, risk, and diligence. God does not reward excuses, fear, laziness, procrastination, or playing small. So build a business that heaven can trust. A business that heaven can trust operates with integrity. It creates real value for people. It treats people with dignity. It does not deceive. It honors God openly. It's generous, excellent, scalable, and it's built on wisdom. So Proverbs 3 9 through 10 tells us, honor the Lord with thy substance. So shall thy born be filled with plenty. So honor brings overflow. So what action steps can you take in your business to move forward um, in this God divine business model? So number one, define your mission. What problem do you solve in the marketplace? And write these things down. Take some time, even right now, and pause the video and write these things down and answer these questions. So, number one, define your mission. What problem do you solve in the market? Number two, build your value ladder. So, have something that's free, entry level, mid tier, premium, luxury, and legacy. Have all of these tiers available so that you offer value across all of these different ladders. But build systems so that number three, build systems so that the business no longer has to depend on you. As we've seen in Joseph style operational structure, he didn't do everything, but he set people up and put people in place. So who are the people that you have in place? Number four, are you creating excellence in fulfillment? Are you serving at a level that competitors refuse to serve at? That's where you get your niche. You know, build covenant level customer relations. So we're not just transactions. You're not just transactional with your customer, but you're being transformational for your customer. And that is how you build a covenant level relationship. So raise your skill level so that your value increases. Don't stay where you are. So money follows mastery. So begin to understand, master what you're good at, master your craft, and money will follow. So delegate everything except the vision, the culture in which you'll be running your company, the cash flows, the partnerships, and the innovation. Besides those things, delegate everything else. Delegate everything besides those things. So, and honor God with your revenue. So, it's a seed that you sow. That's what you're doing. You're sowing seeds. So, understand that your company, what you're building, is not just a business, it's a kingdom assignment that's rooted in, Genesis creation principles. Let it be rooted in Genesis creation principles. Let it be rooted in Joseph's economic strategies. Rooted in Solomon's wisdom, in Jesus's leadership, in Paul's order, and in the kingdom wealth laws. So make sure that your company is designed for multiplication and not just for survival. So you're not building a brand, you're building a legacy that God can trust.